To take a look at how markets are faring at this hour, the JSE is on track to break a 4-day losing streak today, with global markets being mixed as investors assess developments around Russia's war with Ukraine. Portfolio manager at Absa Asset Management, Carmen Mpelwane, joins us now to talk us through the latest market moves. Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. Let's start with a sense of how the markets have opened this morning and what elements are driving trade.
So we see the JSE up at about 1% at midday today, and that's largely been driven by a a recovery in both bank sector as well as industrials. And we're seeing some profit taking coming from the resources sector, which has rallied significantly since the Russian invasion.
Johannesburg Stock Exchange has announced that it has amended its debt listing requirements. So what does this mean for listed companies?
So what it's trying to do is to actually clear the path and allow fundraising for ESG debt raising. And what that is obviously topically is environmental, social and governance aspects. So the focus there is to try to raise funds to assist in climate change, number one. And in so doing, the JSE sort of has aligned itself to ensure that it supports that agenda.
News from MTN, their foreign earnings before tax increasing by 23.7% to 80.8 billion rand. Talk us through those numbers.
Yeah, MTN keeps giving us stellar results, and nothing different in the latest results that came out this morning. And we see that this was largely driven by data revenue. That's seen a significant boost. And specifically in South Africa as well. And this on the back of their subscriber growth actually pulling back. They were still able to deliver these significant results. They've also announced that they will be rolling or spinning out their fintech business. It's been delayed by 1 quarter, so likely to be concluded by the end of June. And then they've also reinstated their dividend, albeit at a level that was below what their consensus expected.
Aspen has concluded an agreement to manufacture and make available an Aspen-branded Aspenovex throughout the African continent. Talk us through the significance of this.
Aspen previously had an agreement with Johnson & Johnson, which allowed them to do what we call fill and finish here in South Africa. But what this new announcement relates to is the actual licensing from Johnson & Johnson, of their intellectual property. So what it allows them to do is actually to manufacture the entire vaccine here, so not just do a fill and finish. And the agreement also entails that Aspen will be allowed to decide how to distribute in the rest of Africa and who to sell to as well. The deal is due to expire at the end of 2026. Not too much more detail in terms of how much this is going to impact Aspen as it stands, but we look for more detail later today when the results come out.
And finally, let's take a look at the RMB BER Business Confidence Index. What has it revealed in the first quarter?
So we've seen a improvement of the 43 that we had in the fourth quarter of 2021. So we've gone up to a level of 46. It still remains below the neutral level of business confidence at 50, but nonetheless, an improvement is better than nothing. It has to be said, though, that this survey was conducted prior to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And so therefore it won't include that impact or the view related to what the war is doing globally. However, having said that, where we did see improvements was in new vehicle dealerships. Sentiment has improved, and that on the back of improved supply for them, as well as manufacturing, which has largely been driven by strong demand both locally and as well as exports.
Carmen Mpelwane, Asset Portfolio Manager at Absa. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.